Alright, 16 artists and producers from Hive's music labels have officially been invited to join the Recording Academy as voting members. So we're going to talk about this, what this means for Hive labels artists and producers and for the industry. Okay, so on July 9th, 2025, local time, the Recording Academy announced its newest class of members, which includes producer Bumzu, Zico, 17's Woozi and Vernon, TXT Yeonjun, ENHYPEN, Chongwan, SSERAFIM's Hoyun, and KATSEYE. And they're joined by in-house producers like Slow Rabbit, Spring Boy, and Wonderkid, names that are already well known for shaping the sound of K-pop and especially Hive label's music behind the scenes. Now, the Recording Academy isn't just the group that hands out Grammys once a year. It's actually one of the most respected institutions in the music world, a place where working professionals like artists, songwriters, producers, and engineers come together to shape the future of the industry. So getting invited as a voting member isn't just an honorary title. It means that you have earned a real seat at the table, and you get to help decide who wins a Grammy. And to even be considered, you have to meet some serious criteria, like having a solid track record of credited work, staying active in the industry, and getting recommendations from current members. So it's not just something that anyone can sign up for. But the role goes beyond voting. Members can also get involved in mentorship programs, advocacy work, and industry-wide conversations through initiatives like Music Cares and Grammy Museum. And over the last few years, the Academy has been working hard to become more inclusive, bringing in more diverse voices and perspectives to reflect what music really looks like today. So when someone becomes a voting member of the Recording Academy, it's not just a personal win. It's a sign that their voice matters in global music conversations and that they are helping shape where it goes next. Now, among the newly invited voting members are some of Hive's most influential creative voices, both on stage and behind the scenes. So Bumzu, he's a pivotal figure behind 17. And he actually received KOMCA's grand prize as the highest earning songwriter in K-pop for the last 2 consecutive years, which is a testament to his prolific and influential career. And originally he was a solo artist, and he went on to become a member, figure to Woozi, and helping guide him as 17's core producer. Now, speaking of which, Woozi is a member of 17, right? And he isn't just a performer. He's the group's main producer, responsible for many of their biggest hits. And his musical direction has helped define 17's signature sound. And shout out to Woozi as he is now entering the military with Hoshi, right? Woozi, Hoshi. Yeah, so there was an article about it 2 days ago. So, and Vernon, he's another key member of 17 and has shown a unique edge with his lyricism and genre-fluid musical instincts. So, yeah, Bumzu has created mostly Bumzu and Woozi who have created some. They basically produce and compose most of 17's discography, and Vernon writes raps. Right now, Ziko, he is known for his work as a solo artist and also member of Block B, and he has long been respected for his versatility as a rapper, singer, and producer. And he has written and produced some of the hits that a lot of Korean people vibe with. And now he's the head of KOZ Entertainment under Hive labels, which is home to Boy Next Door, and he continues to influence the next generation of K-pop artists, and Boy Next Door is really killing it nowadays. Yunjin of TXT, aka Tomorrow by Together, has also contributed creatively to TXT's evolving sound and image. Some of the songs created by Yeonjun, TXT, Let's see. Fairy of Shampoo, Maze in the Mirror, and then so yeah, I this is songs created by Yunjin under K Profiles, and he has consistently contributed to TXT discography. The Chaos Chapter, Fight or Escape. Oh, right. I love this track. ENHYPEN's Blockbuster, where Yeonjun was featured. Nice. Chaotic World, TXT Sweet Dreams, Minnesota 2, Thursday Child, Trust Fund Baby, Good Boy Gone Bad. Good Boy Gone Bad. I love that track. Lonely Boy, Name Chapter, Temptation, Happy Fools, and yeah, I love this Wanna Be a Rock. He also wrote and composed for that one. Farewell Neverland. I love this album. Name Chapter, Temptation, and a lot others. Freefall, Growing Pain, Dreamer, Deep Down, Happily Ever After, Blue Spring. He wrote and composed. Minnesota 3, Tomorrow. He wrote I'll See You There Tomorrow, 내일에서 기다릴게, Miracle, and The Killer. The Killer is also a classic. So there you go. For Sanctuary, he wrote Heaven and Danger. Very nice. And then, yeah, this is an upcoming album to be dropped on July 21st. And he wrote Upside Down Kiss and Ghost Girl. So indeed, Yeonjun has contributed creatively to TXT's evolving discography over the years. Now, Chongwan, he is the leader of ENHYPEN, and he may be one of the younger names on the list. But his leadership and vocal presence have encored the group's rapid international rise since their debut in 2020. And ENHYPEN is indeed, their popularity is getting bigger and bigger. And especially ever since they killed at Coachella stage. Yeah, they are on fire. Now, Hoyun of SSERAFIM, she has stood out not just for her vocals and stage presence, but also for her songwriting. She has written and produced and co-written several of the group's tracks, and her solo work, offering a more introspective and authentic voice in a fast-moving industry. And I'm really looking forward to her solo tracks in the future. The latest track she dropped solo was Jellyfish, which I also loved. Hepari by Jellyfish. And from Hive's newest global girl group, KATSEYE, this was interesting, the fact that they were included, because it's been only a year since they debuted, and the members haven't really showcased their songwriting and producing skills officially, although we know that the members love music and some of them write and produce, especially like Laura and Mano, and others as well. But all 6 members were also invited, and this, I feel like, signals early recognition of their debut impact and the company's ambitions for international outreach. Now, on the production side, Slow Rabbit is one of Hive's most respected veteran producers, right? Having worked on numerous, a lot of BTS tracks and classics like these. Truth Untold, Serendipity, Sweet Venom, Magnetic also, and Gnarly. TXT tracks, yeah, so he's all over. House of Cards, I love that track. House of Cards was recently mentioned by BTS members, V, right, during the OT7 Weavers Live recently. So, and he's known for emotional and cinematic style that has left a lasting imprint on Hive's discography, especially BTS. Spring Boy, so that was Slow Rabbit. Spring Boy, he's a longtime collaborator of BTS, and he is known for his contributions to tracks like Cypher and his deep involvement in the early sounds of BTS during their debut years under Big Hit. And Wonderkid has worked across multiple Hive labels, shaping music for groups like ENHYPEN and TXT. and it continues to serve as one of the company's key in-house producers. So together, this cohort of artists represents a wide spectrum of HYBE's creative power, spanning second-gen veterans, fourth-gen leaders, and behind-the-scenes producers who have helped K-pop become a global force. Now, this, you might ask, what about BTS? Good question, because this isn't the first time that HYBE has had a presence within the Recording Academy. In fact, the foundation was laid years ago when HYBE's chairman Bang Si-hyuk and all 7 members of BTS and longtime in-house producer P-Dog were invited as voting members. And that original lineup signaled the Academy's growing recognition of K-pop, and more specifically, of the creative depth behind BTS' global success. And now, with the addition of this new class, featuring 17's Woozi and Vernon, TXT Yeonjun, SSERAFIM Yunjin, ENHYPEN Chongwan, and roster of producers like Bumzu, Slow Rabbit, Spring Boy, and Wonderkid, and KATSEYE members, it's clear that HYBE is building a system, because this isn't just about individual stars. It's about an entire network of creators and performers and producers, across HYBE labels, gaining a seat at one of the most important tables in global music. And in many ways, this year's newly invited members represents a natural extension of, of the creative DNA that started with BTS. But it's also a sign of how much broader HYBE's ecosystem has become. And the message is pretty clear from my perspective, that HYBE isn't just exporting talent to the US, like I said earlier yesterday. It's embedding its people into the very institutions that shape the global music landscape. And they are doing it with continuity, strategy, and a long view of influence. And the Recording Academy's decision to bring in a wider range of K-pop professionals isn't just a win for HYBE, I feel like. It's more of a pivotal shift for K-pop's place in the global music conversation. And, for years, there's been a gap between the genre's commercial success, K-pop's commercial success, and its institutional recognition. K-pop artists have headlined festivals, sold out stadiums, and topped Billboard charts. But when it came to the Grammys, the most visible symbol of industry validation, they remained on the margins. Like BTS' string of high-profile nominations without a win, really highlighted that disconnect. But I feel like things are changing. Could be changing, because by expanding its voting membership to include more Korean artists and producers, not just performers, but the actual creative minds behind the music, the Recording Academy is quietly reshaping its internal makeup. Because these aren't just new names on a list. They are active participants who now hold real decision-making power in one of music's most influential institutions. So yeah, it's not just about recognition, it's about representation. And that could gradually shift how the Grammys understand, categorize, and ultimately reward K-pop in the years to come. So the question is, what could happen next? I feel like this expanded presence within the Recording Academy doesn't mean that we will suddenly see K-pop dominating the Grammys overnight. But it does suggest that the dynamics behind the scenes are shifting, could be shifting, and that matters. The more artists and producers with first-hand experience in the K-pop system are involved in the voting process, the more likely it is that the genre will be understood on its own terms, not through Western filters, so to say. And it also raises, bigger questions about influence. Like, will other major K-pop companies follow HYBE's lead in building long-term institutional presence, not just chasing nominations? Could this, growing internal participation lead to new award categories or greater genre inclusion, or even different ways of measuring global success. Who knows? But at the same time, the Recording Academy's move hints at something more global in scope. In an era where regional genres like Afrobeats and Latin pop and K-pop are reshaping what mainstream music even means, organizations like the Recording Academy will have to keep evolving, or they might risk falling behind the culture they are meant to reflect. And for HYBE, this moment is less of a finish line, so to say, and more of a like a foothold. It's one that gives its artists and producers a stay in the rooms that once felt out of reach. And for K-pop as a whole, it's a meaningful shift toward something the industry has long sought, structural inclusion, not just symbolic acknowledgement. So yeah, what do you think? They said, Catseye, the global girl group formed through the debut of Dream Academy, embraced the moment and excitement. We're so honored to be part of the Recording Academy. Grammys 2025, new member class, they said. It's exciting to stand alongside such inspiring artists and be part of a community that truly champions music, artistry, and diversity. Huh. Oh, okay. Interesting. So they included quotes by Catseye. So what do you think? Do you think this means for the future of K-pop at the Grammys? Do you think institutional changes like this will lead to fairer recognition, or is the system still too far behind? And which HYBE artist or producer do you think deserves a Grammy next after BTS? I mean, the question is, could BTS finally gain a Grammy after they have a comeback? Who knows? These are some good questions. And because it's very institutional when it comes to Grammy Awards. And could this model of long-term influence work for other K-pop companies as well? And maybe the bigger question is, should K-pop, or in fact, should HYBE, or in fact, should BTS even need the Grammys anymore? So these are some of the questions that I have right now that I might not answer for now. But let me know what you think. As always, if you have opinions or information you'd like to add, feel free to write comments to have discussions. But when you do so, let's stay positive, respectful, and classy. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Bye-bye.